Kenny Thomas drinking a mug of something. I'm gonna go with coffee. Maybe perhaps a nice spot of tea.
Come on, buddy. It's coffee.
Oh, I figured. Now, do you put anything in your coffee?
Of course. I'm not drinking this black. Are you kidding me?
I
That's not allowed, bro.
Hey, a lot of people they drink their coffee black. I use creamer. I use hazelnut creamer.
Drinking black is the best for the digestive system, though.
I have no
Ain't
problem
nobody
with
listening to that, man. Who
I'm-
jumps in there and says black coffee only? This is Black History Month too.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that.
Are
one
you
alone.
I can say that.
That's what
but
I'm
you guys
saying.
can't.
This is where Jay and I just uncomfortably look at each other, and then I try to put it back on creamer. Do you lighten up your coffee with
Yeah.
That's during White History Month days.
I'm a hazelnut creamer guy, like I said. Are you a cream and sugar guy? Are you a flavored creamer guy?
I'm a French vanilla guy, zero
There you
sugar.
There you go. Well, congratulations.
Zero sugar, man. Hey, Dave, this mug got to be on TV now. I gotta.
Yeah, you don't really age, which I find.
I appreciate that.
I don't know how. I mean, I guess you live a nice, clean life or whatever, but you look great, Kenny. You don't look a day over 40. You do a wonderful job on the the broadcast. And let me ask you this: the Kings have lost what 7 of 8 going into the break, I believe, is what my notes were. Everyone's saying, they're tired. They got tired legs and all that. Is that a thing? Like, do they have? Everyone's tired. Is there a reason why the Kings are tireder?
As being a starter, I was a starter for X amount of years during my 11-year career, and it does take a toll, especially if you're a starter. You're playing lots of minutes, and those guys are. And the bench has been productive. The one that's been really consistent is Monk, from a standpoint of you can see him being tired, but now he's hurt because of his ankle situation. So it kind of came at perfect timing, because if people are saying that they look like their legs are tired, it's understandable, right? They're halfway through the season. Keegan, people don't know if he's going to hit the rookie wall or he did. But the nice thing about it is all of those guys that are starters, they might have went through some kind of episode to where they weren't playing great basketball on the offensive end. But it's a matter of how you recoup and come out, right? To where it's going to be interesting to see how they come back on the 23rd and play Portland based off of the way that they just played against the Suns.
Kenny Thomas joining us from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Kenny, the one thing you brought up the bench to me that still seems to be a concern is the big man spot and who's getting those minutes behind Domas. It just seems like Domantas is playing a lot of minutes. As we get later into the season, and just from what you've watched, why do you think Chimezi's still getting those minutes over Rashawn?
I think Mike Brown is still trying to figure out the bench situation outside of Mitchell and Monk. I think it's been kind of up and down. I told Dave and Jason last week that I feel like they need another big man at the 5 spot, because I feel like that's adding a lot of pressure on Sabonis on the defensive end, especially on the offensive end. Is to their advantage, because Sabonis is out on the perimeter a lot, doing a lot of dribble handoffs and different things and pick and rolls. Sabonis has been in a lot of foul trouble lately. I don't know what that's about, but I feel like with him playing the 4 a little bit more, I'm not saying a lot of minutes. I'm just saying just take away him being able to play the 5, because that right there alone could be detrimental to Sabonis, because he's a big key, right? And the bench, like Metu, I'm not trying to go away from that, but I think there is no consistent rotation outside of the 7. It just isn't. And I think it's based off of personnel on who they're playing that night, who Mike Brown and the coaching staff's going to go with. I don't know how else to put that besides I think that's the case.
Well, and you can give us a little bit of insight that maybe others cannot. I'm going back and I'm looking at your game logs, Kenny, with the Kings. And we've talked about this before, where you spent days, if not weeks, on the bench, and your calling card, though, one of your late Kings career calling cards, which I always appreciated about you, is you'd be at the end of the bench for whatever reason, and then they call on you, and you would come in and you'd kill it more often than not. You were ready, you were in shape, you were focused, and you'd put up a double-double or near double-double on a whim, maybe sometimes after not playing for 2 weeks. So, well, it just goes to show you worked hard, you kept in the game, you kept yourself in shape, you were a professional. So with a guy like Rashawn Holmes, can you kind of, it's not the exact same thing, but can you identify a little bit with this guy, also a former Sixer, also a guy that's enjoyed a starting role for much of his career, and mentally what he's going through right now?
Man, I've done a couple shows, and I don't know if you know this, but I have a segment called K9's Hard Hat.
Of course I do.
I get to and I get to pick a guy that kind of did the dirty work like I did, right? From a standpoint playing defense, rebounding, running the floor, getting easy buckets in transition, and knocking down shots when you're open, if not 50% of the time. But that's probably impossible, right? To where you can be around that 30-40% if ideal. It's been hard, man, because this is a guy that was playing a couple of years ago, even last year, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I'm not playing at all. Like, what do? I always gotta stay ready. Like, we could talk about Holmes, but Delhi, that's another guy, and you got Lynn.
Did Kenny pause?
Kenny, did you mute your mic?
No, because he's not moving. See?
That had nothing to do with me this time.
There we go.
It wasn't me.
You're back.
So you're saying you got Len, you were going through the players right in the middle of your plate.
And you got Lynn, and you got guys that are like, whoa, like, where do we fit in here, right? And I think they're just not in the rotation. But it's going to come down to where, as it gets later in the season, you might see Lynn and you might see Holmes play a little bit more. But Holmes came out and had a great game against the Lakers, and then the next game he didn't play.
Right.
So it's I love me some Mike Brown. So you will never hear me say anything bad about Mike Brown. I've known him since I was like 19, 20 years old, and he's that guy. And they just have to buy in. But the nice thing about it is that they're all making a lot of money.
Well, and Kenny, I just want to point this out because it's in front of me. Your last year, which was with the Kings, you played against New Orleans on November 29th. You didn't play again until December 5th. It was at Phoenix, and I
remember that game.
You had 27, bro. You had 4 points and 18 boards in 27 minutes. Then the very next game, you go from 18 board performance. You go from that to 6 minutes against Miami at home. Then back up to 24 minutes 2 days later in New Orleans, and then back down to 10. So again, that has to be just a mental pinball going on in your head, especially when I'm sure you were seeing the end of the tunnel or suspecting the end of the tunnel was coming.
Yeah. Man, it's hard because I can go a couple different ways with this. Man, my career, you got to understand, I had 10 coaches in 11 years, one in Houston. And I had about 5 here in Sacramento outside of Philadelphia. And there wasn't any consistency from the standpoint of, hey, Kenny, you're our guy. Then this whole plus minus thing came into play, and then that didn't help me in a lot of different ways. And I remember that Phoenix game, man. Paul, God rest his soul, like because he passed away. He wanted to play me my last year. And then that Phoenix game, I'm like, okay, let me get some crack in here. I played against Stoudemire. I'm not going to say I locked him up, but he probably had maybe 10, maybe 8 points during that time when I was on the floor. I told myself, just like I was in Philly, I need to rebound, play defense, and knock down easy shots. Okay.
Mari Stoudemire, by the way, Stoudemire was 5 of 13 in 41, 5 for 13 in 41 minutes.
My boy. See, so come in, play defense, do what I do, and see what happens. Next thing you know, I don't play no more, man. It's obvious the front office, there was something there. And I don't know if people know this. I didn't play really that much my last 3 years. And I was like the second highest paid on the team. And the Maloofs are from Albuquerque. So those were my boys back in the day. I went to them and I was like, yo, man, like I'm sitting here making 22-ish the last 3 years million, and I'm just sitting here doing nothing. And then I'm like, man, come on, man. The Spurs tried to trade for me. Larry Brown tried to trade for me again when he was in Charlotte because I was talking to him. It just went out of whack, man. But at the same time, It got to come to an end. Here I am trying to be like you and do this media thing, Dave.
Hey, I know how you feel, dude. I got 22 million coming to me over the next 3 years, and I keep telling them, let me do more radio, and they're like, no, we're fine. I mean, 6 to 10 one day, 7 to 11 the next. Kenny,
I like it.
You're the best. You're my hard hat award winner each and every day with that pretty face, and we love seeing you on the pre, half, and post and everything you do every week with us as well. We appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you in a week, brother, man.
Man, I appreciate you both, and Dave, man, you my guy, and thank you for. I love how you bring up certain things because people don't know that.
They don't. They don't. Oh, he was about to say something really nice about me.
Yeah, no, Nate cut him off because
Come on!
We can't have people
he was
saying nice
something
things
nice
about you.
about me, and then this happens. Crap. We'll take a break. Oh, there he is.
He did it
All
himself. Right. No, that one was on you, wasn't it, Kenny? You made sure you couldn't get a compliment in.
That's what I'm saying, man. Hey, my do not disturb is always on. It's your side.
Right. He's getting phone calls.
Yeah, we got to hit up Xfinity about this Wi-Fi, man.
We will be right back.